In the quiet Igbo village of Umueze, there lived a kind couple named Obinna and Ngozi. They loved each other very much and did everything together. Every morning, they worked side by side on their small farm. Obinna planted yams and cassava, while Ngozi weeded the farm and sang sweet songs that made the birds sing with her. Obinna was known in the village for his strength and bravery. He climbed the tallest palm trees to tap palm wine. He carried heavy firewood from the forest without getting tired. But everyone also knew how much he loved his wife. He always helped her with small things at home, and they shared laughter every evening. Ngozi was a cheerful woman. She sold fresh vegetables in the village market. She was very good at cooking, and many neighbors would come to her house just to smell her delicious food. She always had a kind word for everyone and made friends easily. One rainy night, Ngozi came back from the market shivering. Her body was hot and her legs were weak. She tried to cook dinner, but she fell on the floor. Obinna ran to her and held her close. He was so afraid he did not know what to do. He lifted her gently and laid her on their bamboo bed. Early the next morning, Obinna went to call Mama Nkechi, the oldest woman in the village. Mama Nkechi knew many herbs and was wise in the ways of the ancestors. She came quickly with her basket full of dried leaves, roots, and bottles of dark liquids. She checked Ngozi's temperature and touched her chest. She looked very worried. Mama Nkechi shook her head and said softly, "This sickness is strong. If you do not do something special, she will not wake up again." Obinna's eyes widened in fear. He dropped to his knees and held Mama Nkechi's legs, begging, "Please, Mama, tell me what to do. I will do anything to save my wife." Mama Nkechi took a deep breath and said, "For 7 days you must become your wife.
You must do all the things she does every day. You must wear her clothes, go to the market, cook food, fetch water, and care for the home. Only then will the gods see your love and have mercy on her." Obinna was shocked. "Me, a man, wear a woman's clothes and do her work?" he asked, looking confused and afraid. But when he looked at Ngozi's pale face, he knew he had no choice. He nodded with tears in his eyes. "I will do it," he said quietly. The next morning, Obinna tied one of Ngozi's wrappers around his waist. He wrapped her colorful scarf on his head. He looked in the mirror and almost laughed at himself. But he remembered Mama Nkechi's words and became serious. He went outside to sweep the compound just as Ngozi did every morning. As he swept, children passed by and pointed at him. They laughed and shouted, "Obinna is a woman! Obinna is a woman!" Obinna felt embarrassed but did not stop. He knew he was doing it to save his wife.
By afternoon, Obinna was sweating under the hot sun. He carried the heavy basket back home with tired arms. He went straight to the kitchen and started peeling yams. He tried to pound the yams, but his hands were not used to it. He almost dropped the pestle on his toes, but kept going. When the fufu was ready, he made vegetable soup with ugu leaves and dried fish. He fed Ngozi small spoons of soup. She was too weak to chew, but she swallowed slowly. Her eyes fluttered open for a second and she whispered, "Obinna." He smiled through tears. On the second day, Obinna went to fetch water from the stream. He balanced the big clay pot on his head like he had seen Ngozi do many times. His neck hurt and his feet slipped on the muddy path, but he kept going. Women at the stream gasped and giggled when they saw him. They called him Obinna the wife and asked if he was practicing for a festival. He told them the truth. Many women were touched by his story. They helped him fill his pot and sang songs of encouragement for him as he walked back home. At home, he washed Ngozi's clothes by the well. He scrubbed them hard against the washing stone. His knuckles became red and sore. He hung the clothes on the line to dry. The wind blew them high, and he chased one of Ngozi's wrappers when it flew off the line into the bush. In the evening, he sat beside Ngozi and massaged her legs. He wiped her forehead with a wet cloth to cool her down. He prayed to the gods, saying, "Please, let my love heal her. She is my life." Fireflies danced in the night as he prayed softly. On the third day, Obinna woke up early to feed the chickens and goats. He scattered corn for them and chased away a hawk that tried to catch a chick. He milked their goat, something he had never done before. The goat kicked him twice, but he did not give up. Later, he packed vegetables from their small garden. He arranged them neatly in the basket and carried them to the market. The women sellers started calling him Obinna the brave wife. Many customers came to buy his vegetables because they wanted to help him. That day, Obinna sold everything very fast. He used the money to buy a big smoked fish, ripe plantains, and sweet oranges. He cooked a delicious dinner and mashed the plantains so Ngozi could eat easily. When he fed her, she smiled weakly again and a tear fell from his eye. On the fourth morning, Obinna carried firewood from the forest. The logs were heavy and the path was rough. He stumbled and scratched his leg, but he kept going. His sweat soaked the wrapper he wore and the scarf kept falling off his head. But he did not stop for a moment. When he reached home, he lit the fire and boiled water to bathe Ngozi. He washed her carefully and changed her clothes. He sang softly to her, just like she used to sing to him when he came back tired from the farm. That afternoon, Mama Nkechi came to check on Ngozi. She looked surprised at how clean the house was and how well Obinna was caring for his wife. She smiled and said, "Obinna, you are doing well. Keep going. The gods are watching." On the fifth day, Obinna's body ached all over. His hands were full of blisters, and his back felt like it would break. But he forced himself to get up. He cooked breakfast, fed the animals, swept the compound, and fetched water before the sun rose high in the sky. That afternoon, he took Ngozi's basket and went to the market. A small group of children followed him, singing, "Obinna, the wife, is going to the market." He smiled at them, but inside he was tired and worried. He knew he had to stay strong. At the market, he sold fast again. Many villagers respected him now. They called him Obinna, the husband of the year. Some women said they wished their husbands would learn from him. He returned home with fresh vegetables, onions, and crayfish to make a rich soup. That evening, Obinna made Ngozi laugh for the first time in days. His wrapper nearly fell off, and he caught it just in time. Ngozi's weak giggle filled his heart with hope and joy. On the sixth day, Obinna cleaned the kitchen, washed clothes, and went to the farm to weed the cassava plants. The sun was hot, and he drank many cups of water to stay strong. He remembered how Ngozi always did this work with a smile. He pretended to dance like her in the kitchen. He collected vegetables and firewood before returning home. At the stream, women clapped and sang his name. They told stories of how Obinna became the wife to save his love. Even the village chief heard about him and sent palm wine to encourage him. Obinna made porridge that night and fed Ngozi carefully. Her eyes were brighter now, and she could lift her hands slowly. He held her hand and kissed it softly. He thanked the gods for their kindness, but begged them to heal her fully. On the seventh day, Obinna felt stronger, even though he was very tired. He sang Ngozi's favorite song while cooking. He made pounded yam and egusi soup, using all the things she taught him about spices and timing. The smell filled the whole compound. He dressed Ngozi in her best wrapper and tied a new scarf on her head. She could sit up now, leaning on his strong arms. He brushed her hair and told her stories about his funny days in the market and the children who sang for him. That afternoon, Mama Nkechi returned with other elders. They entered the hut quietly and saw Ngozi sitting up and smiling. They gasped and praised the gods. Mama Nkechi told Obinna, "Your love has won. The sickness has gone." The elders called neighbors, and soon, the whole village gathered outside Obinna's compound. They sang, danced, and thanked the gods for healing Ngozi. The women ululated loudly, and the men beat drums that echoed through the village hills. Obinna lifted Ngozi in his arms and carried her outside. The villagers cheered. Children threw flower petals on them, and women spread colorful wrappers on the ground for them to walk on. It was a celebration of love and victory. The village chief came forward with a big wooden staff. He said, "Obinna, you have shown everyone what true love means. You are not just a strong man, but also a strong husband. You are an example for every man in this land." Obinna held Ngozi close. Tears ran down his cheeks, but they were tears of happiness. Ngozi whispered in his ear, "You are my hero, Obinna. You became my hands and feet. You became me." Her words made his heart warm like the morning sun. From that day, Obinna and Ngozi became legends in Umueze. People told their story to children by the fire at night. They said, once there was a husband who became a wife to save the one he loved. His love was stronger than any sickness. Obinna and Ngozi lived long and happy lives. They had many children who grew up learning the value of caring, helping, and loving deeply. Their family became known as the most loving and united in the village. Their home was always filled with laughter and peace. And so, in Umueze, whenever a husband or wife fell sick, their partner remembered Obinna's story. They learned to love without fear, to help without shame, and to give everything for the one they love. The story of the husband who became the wife taught everyone that love conquers all. This story teaches that true love is shown through sacrifice, care, and understanding. When someone we love is in need, we should be ready to do anything to help them, even if it means taking on roles we never imagined. Obinna's courage to become the wife for his sick partner shows that love has no pride or shame. By helping each other, families grow stronger. The story also reminds us not to laugh at others who are trying their best, but instead support them. Love, patience, and kindness can heal wounds.
Thank you so much for listening to today's enchanting story. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe for more magical tales that spark your imagination. Every story is a door to a new adventure, and I'm so glad you walked through it with me today. Stay curious, stay kind, and keep dreaming big. Until next time, keep the magic alive in your heart. I'll see you again soon for another wonderful story. Bye for now.